Happy Thursday and welcome back to Roundtable. Here with me today is Brian Connor, Scoutmaster of Troop 301, to talk to us about Webelos to Scout transition a little later. But first, I have a few announcements to go over. One is recharter. If you haven't turned in your recharter paperwork, it is very late. If you need help, please contact me. I'll be happy to sit down with you and help you figure it out. The Compass Points newsletter was emailed out for the first time this month. We are no longer doing paper copies, so check your junk mail if you didn't receive it. You can update your email with Beth Render here at our office. You can also find it on our website. Adults and youth are needed for the National Jamboree. Our council is having a contingent go to the National Jamboree, and all Scouts BSA crew members and adult leaders are invited to join us in that. We have about 40 spots available. And don't forget, it is not too late to schedule your Friends of Scouting presentation. We already have 11 units who have earned free rank and or advancement, so you can schedule your presentation today. And we have a few events coming up. All the information about the events can be found in the Need to Know page in the link description below. Those are Order of the Arrow Rank Up, Shooting Sports Merit Badge Weekend, How the West Was Won Spring Camporee, Ideal Year of Scouting, Parent-n-Pal Weekend, Resource Camp, and Travel Through Time Cub Scout Day Camp. We also have 3 adult trainings coming up: Introduction to Outdoor Leader Skills, BLUE, which is Basic Adult Leader Outdoor Orientation, and Leave No Trace Trainer Course. So you can find all the links again in the description below to learn more about those activities. So now we're going to talk a little bit about Webelos to Scout transition. Do you want to take a minute to introduce yourself?
Sure. As Abby mentioned, my name is Brian Connor, and I'm our new Scoutmaster for Troop 301 here in Evansville, based out of Methodist Temple. Prior to that, I was Scoutmaster for our pack over there for a couple of years, and excited. I'm learning stuff every day as a new Scoutmaster.
Great. I asked Brian to be here today because the Pack 301 and Troop 301 have a great relationship, and most of their Webelos usually do move into the troop. We have seen many years where they have 100% transferring over into a troop. So Webelos to Scout transition is exactly what it sounds like. It's when we get our 5th graders comfortable with the troop nearby to transfer them over when they're done with their Arrow of Light, or they are 11 years old and ready to move into that troop. These tips and tricks we're talking about will work on packs and troops that are linked, like 301, but also on units that don't have a pack and troop that meet at the same organization. The main goal of Webelos to Scout transition is to build the relationship. So what does Pack and Troop 301 do to stay connected?
Well, a couple of things that we do. I usually try to go to most of our pack events, our weekly pack meetings as well, just to keep that connection going. Even though I was the Cub Master there, I'm still assistant Cub Master, so I help out with the pack fairly regularly. Our troop tries to send troop kids over to the pack to help out with different events, whether it's games and running activities for our pack. We schedule campouts, dual pack and troop campouts about once a year, maybe twice a year. We go hiking together, we do some service projects together. Anything that we do, we always try to invite the pack along for different things, and so that not just the Webelos, but the entire pack is building that connection with the troop and seeing all the different things that our troop does.
And that's really great. I hear a lot that the scout isn't moving into a troop because they're nervous, they don't know anybody. This gives them that opportunity to meet the older scouts, meet the leaders, and really be comfortable. So the pack needs to maintain the records and know who their Webelo 2s are, and who the leadership in the troop is. They need to keep their scouts interested in having fun by doing things like Parent-n-Pal Weekend and Cub Scout Day Camp, visiting the Spring Camporee, doing things with the troop. And another thing the pack needs to do is to communicate. So communicate with the leader, with the adults of those scouts who are getting ready to transition into a troop, and also communicate with the troop. Maybe your Webelos den needs a den chief, or they need help with a camp out of their own so they can partner with the troop. And then the troop needs to make sure that they're building those relationships, providing den chiefs as they can, participating in pack events, and also communicating with the pack leadership and the parents that might be coming in the next season.
Yeah. A couple of things, Abby, that you mentioned that I found particularly helpful has been partnering with council events, whether sending the Webelos to the camporee, the spring camporees, and so the Webelos are partnering with the troop, going up to camporee, experiencing what troop life is like for a weekend, going through all the different stations, camping with them, cooking with the troop, and also even Woods of Webelos. You're getting the first year Webelos involved with that, where they're spending the weekend with the troop if the troop is staffing Woods of Webelos, so they're getting to at least camp with them, and then the Webelos are going around all day doing the activities at Woods of Webelo, and then spending the evening with the troop and hanging out with them, getting more comfortable with them. So those are a couple of things that I found particularly helpful, and our troop usually utilizes both of those events every year.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought up Woods of Webelos. The whole point of it is to prepare our Webelos to be scouts or to move into a troop. So that is a great event. It happens the first weekend in November every year. So if you're a Webelo 1 or Webelo 2 are getting ready to transition into one of those dens, that is a great activity to put on your calendar. The Spring Camporee is going to happen at Old Bend Scout Reservation on April 25th and through the 26th, and Webelos are welcome to come up Saturday morning, and then they can stay Sunday night, but they can only stay that one night.
A couple other things is if you don't have a feeder troop or a feeder pack, is partnering with another pack or another troop in the area. We've reached out to a couple of other packs in our area and built some connections with them. We have some adult leaders that are involved with other packs from our troop that are involved with other packs.
Yeah.
And so they're building those relationships, and that pack does not have a feeder troop. And so we're able to build those relationships with them and send some of our boys over to, some of our scouts over to help them out, whether it's sending it over as den chiefs or just helping run some events for them.
Yes, and if you are in a troop and you don't know how to get in contact with the packs in your area, I can definitely help you do that. We have 2 Cub Scout packs on the west side this year doing a Pinewood Derby together. That'd be a great time for troops in the area to go visit or help out. I know we often have our Posey County troops get together for a big camp out. That would be a great time for Webelos to stop in and see what all the troops are about. And Brian, what would you do? What advice would you give people if they make that transition into a troop and they find that it's really not a good match?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. We kind of see that sometimes where a Webelo crosses over to a troop and they visited some troops, or maybe it's their feeder troop, and they're just not enjoying it as much as they thought they would. And so my advice to that would be maybe start the process over again, look at another troop, visit some other troops in the area, talk to some friends maybe in school that are in other troops and find out what their troops are doing. I know myself as a scoutmaster, I would much rather one of my scouts be happy in a troop, whether it's if that means transferring to another troop, rather than dropping out of scouts altogether, or just sticking around with the troop and not being happy about it. I'd rather see them find a troop that they are comfortable with.
Yeah, definitely. And you don't have to go to the unit that is in your neighborhood or feeds from your school or was connected to your Cub Scout pack. You can go find the one that works best for your family. Every troop has their own culture and their own dynamic, and they do different things.
Yeah, and maybe you found out once you crossed over to a troop that their meeting schedules conflict with your own schedules, and so that might be a reason to start looking for another troop.
Yes. So big takeaways would be to communicate and to do activities together. When the kids see those older scouts, they see the leaders, it becomes much easier for them to move into the next level of scouting without the anxiety like when you move from elementary school to middle school or middle school to high school, you don't know what to expect, and it makes the kids really nervous. But in this way, they don't have to have those nerves because they've already experienced it.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to add?
One thing I would add is I kind of view Webelo to troop transition as basically a year-long process for both the packs and the troops. You really need to start in August once recruitment happens and find out who those Webelos are, the Arrow Light candidates, and find out how many there are and who would potentially be interested, and start building those connections early on in the scouting year, and then start planning joint activities for sometime in the fall, and whether that's in October or November. And once you have that happen, then you can continue building that relationship up with the Webelos, and sometime in December or early January, start talking to the Cub Masters and finding out exactly how many may be transferring or crossing over to your troop, and narrowing down those crossover dates so you can have those on your troop calendars as well. And then once the troop crossovers happen, plan an activity if you don't already have an annual March activity planned out for the troop, so you get those new scouts and the troop involved right away, and maybe continue on doing that. Invite the Webelos again to the camporee in April, so you can kind of start that process all over there again, and just continual cycle there.
Yes, that's great advice. All right, so that is the basics of Webelos to Scout transition. Check the links in the description below. We will be putting a Webelo to Scout transition timeline in there, as well as a troop visit checklist that you might find helpful. And stay tuned. We're going to talk about Parent-n-Pal weekend in just a minute.
Welcome back. Again, my name is Brian Connor. I'm our Scoutmaster for Troop 301, and I'm also the chairperson for the Parent-n-Pal Campout, sponsored by Buffalo Trace Council. It's a campout open to all districts in the council here, and it's a campout specifically designed for a parent and a scout to work together. We have some great activities planned again this year. We got some great reviews last year. Basically what happens during the weekend is you camp up here at the iCamp Scout Center on the grounds up here, and throughout the weekend, throughout that Saturday, the scout will be building one of these wonderful wood projects here, such as a tray for tiger cubs, a nice table for wolves, a treasure chest for bears, and the handy-dandy chair that I'm sitting in for the Webelos. Will be building all these themselves throughout the weekend. Parent-n-Pal is May 2nd to the 3rd. It's a Saturday and Sunday, the first Saturday in May. Cost is $50 for the scout and parent to come to this. It includes all the meals for the weekend and all the building supplies for the